Futures point to a lower open following yesterday's late-day slide, and weaker news out of China fueling concerns for slower growth. Softer than expected German PMI also has Europe trading in the red. I'm Taylor Schranz, and the morning call starts right now.
Good morning, I'm Scott Rudd, the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com.
And I'm Jill Malandrino with The Street, and together we bring you the Morning Call Express. We see the futures a bit lower on German PEI and some slowing concerns in China. Scott, before we set up today, let's review yesterday's action.
Well, yesterday you had a lot of great action. Early in the day, a lot of the high beta tech names were going to the upside. Everything seemed a little frisky, and a lot of people were getting a little giddy. Even on my desk, I'm like, guys, we just happened to be in the right stocks at the right time. But as the day developed, you know, some of the banks felt a little bit tired as some stocks start to pull in and the indices weren't. We started talking about, you know, maybe stocks feel a bit heavier than the actual indices, that maybe you have to clean up some loose longs and maybe put on a few hedges because we've traveled a long way so far.
So we have jobless claims today, leading indicators, and the housing price index. Let's review the SPX and set up our plan for today, Scott.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll put up the chart of the spiders because a lot of guys do trade the spiders. So if you look here, you know, I'm going to actually magnify it a little bit. This is ever since we broke out this year. This has been the trend we've been following. Here is that slight pullback when we pulled back to about 1340 and held, and then had another nice move. So we've been building this floor. We've been holding above, just say around 1396 to 1402, and today we're going to open a little bit below it. So on the spiders, I think you watch the 10-day moving average. The 10-day moving average right now is at, what is that, 139.47. See within the next, I would say 30 to 60 minutes of the open if we could reclaim that. If we can't get back above that, we could see a test of this prior breakout, and that area would be right around the 20-day moving average, which comes in around 138.10 to 138.30.
Moving along to the sector spotlight, we're going to revisit the restaurant group. We haven't spoken about them in quite a while. Yesterday, Starbucks announced that it's going to continue to sell Green Mountain coffee.
Yeah, well, Starbucks, we talked about it 3 weeks ago. That was the time to buy it. If you look at the chart here, it has an unbelievable move. This is when we started talking about it, and it had just a really nice run to the highs. I don't think you chase Starbucks if you're an investor. Maybe take a tier off if you're very involved, but at this particular point, you know, I think it's just a little bit frothy. I would rather trim some than be buying Starbucks
And
today.
quickly, let's take a look at McDonald's, ticker MCD. They announced their CEO is retiring.
Yeah, McDonald's is a little questionable right now. Ever since it broke that wedge to the downside in the European news, it's been kind of soft, and it's coming into an inflection point. So for McDonald's, if you take a quick look here, you know, if you remember, we were drawing this wedge and we were trying to figure out whether it would break to the upside or the downside. And then on that news, it gapped down. It tried to fill the gap, couldn't, showing that this is still in control, and we're closing near the low on support here. So if McDonald's starts to break this low of 96.37, you could see some more corrective type action, and that would put some pressure on the Dow.
Moving along to the trenchers, we're going to check the temperature of healthcare. First name we're going to look at is Abbott, ticker ABT, which is Stephanie and Jim's third largest holding.
Well, this one shows you that you could be in different sectors that you act frisky, and this one had a nice move. If you look here at the chart, you will see this was your spot to buy it. This is when it cleared this pivot here of about 57, 57.75. It's had a nice move, and it's trying to flag here. I wouldn't start getting so big now after such a big move, but if it starts to clear this flag type pattern, you could get an additional gain above 60.55. But you know, I would be just a bit cautious here because the market is, you know, a little bit frothy right now.
Yeah, they did a great job being long in that name. We're also going to look at AET, Aetna. There's a lot of interesting options flow. We see some nice premium buying for some summer puts there.
Well, summer puts.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Some insurance, cheap insurance.
No, oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I was just saying maybe downside bets. Anyway, you know, if you look at this pattern here, this is a nice consolidation. Okay, this one hasn't gone yet. So if you want to be bullish on that, maybe be in a tier 1, and if it starts to clear this upper zone of about 47, you get to your tier 2, because I would put it in motion. Right now, it's in consolidation mode, and I still think it looks okay.
And quickly before we wrap up, let's review Apple. There was the first time in a long time that we saw some downside pressure yesterday.
Well, Apple gave us some clues that at the end of the day, we were going to have some weakness. It went from positive to negative through the previous day's high. That's what made me take home some Q short to have a bit of a hedge. If you look at the chart real quickly, you will see how, not a big deal, but it went above the high here of, what was that, about 607, came below it. You do have some downside room to about, you know, what is this, 583. So just be a bit careful here. Obviously, it's going to have to get through the 595 area first.
Okay, well, the earnings calendar is a bit light, but we do have a lot of economic data today. Don't forget, catch Scott every day on Options, Profits, Real Money, and T3 Live as he reviews the charts for us.
Hi, I'm Sean Hendelman, CEO of T3 Live, where we train, coach, and mentor traders in order to help you put your money to work with confidence. With T3 Live approach is a blueprint for you to recognize, adapt, and ultimately take advantage of different market conditions. To begin your training with T3 Live, we would like to offer you the opportunity to enroll in our free 30-day online home study course. Fill in your name and email address, and I'll see you on the other side.